Now, what you need to know is if everybody among them can talk. Because even if I want to can, you must know that all the 10 can talk. Because whatever I come meeting go on.
You link unaweza tumia kwa WhatsApp please. Umetoka bit? Eh? Umenitumia? Bit. Ukinyamaza sijui. Ukiongea ndio unajua ndio unanitumia.
Hello. Nataka kuja meeting sasa. Tuko poa kabisa. Sawa. Nakuanga bingwa na pia nakuanga
Sigei.
You can choose not to have your video,
Sigei.
but preferably itakuwa sawa. Yeah, let's go. It's live actually.
Sigei.
You choose. You can choose.
Hmm? Sigei.
Hi, Reggie.
Bado uko kwa matatu hujashuka? Poa, unanisikia? Unanisikia? Sigei?
Nakusikia sasa. Sika unanisikia?
Oh.
Unanisikia?
Nakusikia.
Niko kwa gari.
Do you think this will work or not?
It will work. Guys are joining actually.
Sorry?
They are joining actually right now.
Aha. Kuna mtu anaitwa Janet ana join lakini device yake inasema not connected. What do you want me to do, Sige? I have added Achola. I have added Achola. Ochola.
Ochola.
So there is Janet.
Yes.
But device yake inasema not connected.
See what could be the problem.
On the baseline.
What time do you want Peter to join?
16:30.
Sorry?
4:30.
So I'll give him this laptop then at 4:30. Which is just a few minutes. Hata imefika. So when you are ready for him, just let me know. Nimpe laptop, eh?
We are. Let him go.
Let him join, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you ready? Wako. You want to sit, right?
Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Yes, Peter.
Hello,
Oh, Nico,
hi.
Nico.
We can hear you, yes.
Hi.
Hi. I'm at your service now when you need me.
Welcome, Peter.
Asante.
Maybe we can start with. We are a group of more than 10 guys interested in joining one of the Saccos in Kenya.
You did what?
Wanted to join one of the Saccos in Kenya.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
We had a few questions. Guys had a few questions shared with your document on
Yes.
some of the insights we've had. Maybe you can share from that. You can first introduce yourself and then share from the insights that you saw. Then we can have maybe questions after that.
Okay. Let me use my earphones. I think it's not. Thank you, Sigay and the team. I can see there's Bethy, Benny, Hannington Moya, there's Babu, Ochola, Ochola, 6 people. A minute. Janet can hear us, eh? There's Janet and there's Evelyn and Joel. So maybe, and thanks for inviting me, Sigay. I saw from the document you sent me that you guys have done quite some background work, and especially of the big Saccos. My understanding, and again, maybe I could start by saying I'm Peter Mushira. I don't want to purport I'm a financial expert or anything, or a Sacco expert, but Saccos is something that I have a passion for, and that I really encourage people to join, because they can make your lives very easy, depending on what you want. So as a group, my assumption is that you are a registered group, because I looked at the Saccos that you listed, Uniters. In fact, I must preempt one of my groups that I'm a member of a group, an older group which we've been there for a while, where we buy land, and we are members of Uniters. As that group, we are around 20 of us, and we've been in Uniters for quite some many years. And we joined primarily because we wanted loans, because we would be buying land and then hopefully developing the land. So Uniters had a very good deal. We could, on top of just the shares, we could use our title to secure loans. I also, so you looked at Safaricom Sacco, and most of them, they require the same thing. What I don't know, and what I'll be asking later, is if your group, do you want just to join the Sacco as an investment to be making money, or do you want to join the Sacco to be taking loans as a group? Because that in my opinion will make a lot of need for the decisions that you'll make. And especially for Steamer Sacco and Safaricom Sacco, to decide if you are joining the Safaricom Sacco itself or Safaricom Investment Sacco, because there are two. Even in Steamer, they have two. So you have to be very clear which one it is. There's the Safaricom Sacco and the Steamer Sacco. Almost all Saccos that I think I know of, when it comes to groups, they'll loan you money, even just as long as you're contributing every month. They'll loan you money even with on the back of an asset. Either if your business is doing well, or if you have a title deed, or if one of the members has a car, they can loan you against that. So one, maybe, I don't know if Sigay, are you guys looking at joining a Sacco just to be saving as a saving platform, or to borrow money?
Investment, also borrowing money.
So borrowing money and investment. And I don't want to say that you can choose either or, because all of the ones you have, Unitas, Safaricom, Steamer. I'm a member of Unitas. The only thing with Unitas, their dividends are not very good. And we've been members there for quite a while with a certain group that we've been buying land. Safaricom is quite strong and Steamer. Now, when you say in investments, and if I saw one of the questions was saying that if the loan repayment, how is loan repayment done? You are a registered group. So is it a company or a CBO or a what? You're registered as a?
If I may interject.
We're not
okay. Yes, someone is interjecting.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo that. I had put it in the chat that you're not yet registered, but it's in the works.
Oh, it's in the works, eh? So you want to be registered as a company, I would assume?
We're still debating on that. We are not sure if it's a company limited or just a group or a chama. So we're still in the process of that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So maybe now those are the decisions which you're going to make, because if you're a company, like for example, the group in which we are in United Sacco, we are a company. So of course we are limited liability. So if we don't pay, our company will be sued, and the directors will be sued. So we have to pay, because we told them that we'll be giving this amount of money. And just like any other company, if you don't pay, then the bank or the Sacco will take over the security given. Now, if you join as, there are people who join as individuals in one Sacco, like all of you join, but you are guaranteeing each other. Then it is your what's it called? The person who signs off as the person who signs off as your guarantor. So, for example, if you use Safaricom Sacco, and you're not a registered company, there will be people who will sign off as your guarantors, depending on the shares that they have. If you do not pay, or if all of you have been maybe mmekuwa mkitoa elfu moja to pay up the loan, and then you stop paying, you'll either top up or then go after your guarantors. Which would be very unfortunate, because now socially but my understanding, like if I can talk from the United's background, is before they give you a loan, they have to see that your company, your chama, your whatever organization has a cash flow. Either you're using a title deed. If you don't have a title deed or some asset, then you have a cash flow. So maybe the constitution of your group will have to say that members of this group every month contribute 2,000, and this 2,000, out of 2,000, 1,000 goes directly into the bank accounts, and these people cannot just leave. There's a clause within your constitution. So the way you craft your constitution will give the bank, or in this case the Sacco, some guarantee. Because you are registered, and let's assume you're registered as a company, you have your PIN number, you have your income flow. So every month you're giving this amount, and your constitution, your chama constitution says that if somebody is even leaving the chama, he can't live with his money. He has to sell that. His shareholding to another member of the chama. And those are things that I think, Gay, what I'm getting, that is a very important first decision as a group you'll have to make. That what do you want to be registered? There's a company that me and my wife we formed together with 6 other guys, which we invest in stocks. Now, what we did because it's a limited liability company, we said that hata ukichoka na hii kampuni, hautakuja utuambia ati leteni pesa yangu niende. No. It will be the same way like a company on the Nairobi Stock Exchange. Wewe kama umechoka, uuzie mmoja wetu shareholding yetu. Ukikosa, itabidi ugoje. Back somebody buys, but you can't just remove capital from our company that we have built. So you get into this thing seriously, and I think that company now has run for more than 10 years, and you have to file taxes and all that. So I think, CK, my reasoning, because I see you've done a lot of research on these circles, and I'm assuming these are the circles that you have narrowed down. is to get it right at the point of registration. Know your members, know what you want to be registered as. If you're doing business, maybe you want a company, because then your group can float tenders. You can. It's easier. It's limited. It's a limited liability company, so the individual members are a bit shielded from litigation in court. If you just want it as a merry-go-round investment kidogo, then you can do the CBO, way, or an ungovernmental organization, or just a group under social. It's called social services, under social services, under the Ministry of Social Services, so that they know this is just an investment group for investment. You're not doing tendering. You're not. You don't have a PIN. You're not going into those things that require a PIN. But then now that way you risk your members individually to litigation and other things. I don't know if I'm making any sense, because I think that's a very important first step to first decide what do you want to be and what will your constitution look like. Mtu anaweza ingia tu atoke, because I think we all know the way groups are dynamic nowadays. I don't know, Sige, if I'm making any sense, or the rest of the team.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, Joel. Because if right now you go into a Sacco, they'll tell you they really encourage you to join very quickly, or any organization. But if you're not well registered, you may end up getting into problems immediately, because if you decide we'll be saving 1,000 per person per month into the Sacco, it is as who? It can't be all your names. It will be a group or something. And then what happens in the event one of you drops out? Joel or hanging. These are just questions I'm looking out there, because they are realistic. One person anaweza choka na nyinyi aseme this thing is not giving me any money. So what happens? You put that in the constitution. What happens if one person wants to go abroad na hataki maneno ya chama, anataka kwenda? What happens if somebody is genuinely cannot afford to give the contributions? Can one of the other people pay? So you formalize your group so that it's not very informal. If it's informal, it becomes a bit. If it's informal, in my opinion, it's not very good.
I have a question.
Yes, John.
First of all, thank you for shedding a lot more light about SACCOs. My question would be, in your opinion, in your honest opinion, because you've been doing this for quite some time.
Yeah.
What is the hardest thing, the registration part, or agreeing about the constitution section that says every month, for example, we should pay up this amount? Because saving is hard. I know it from experience. It is very hard, because you set up something and you want to save 3,000, 5,000 every month, but then you lose your job, for example, like in my case. And then genuinely you can't raise that capital or that contribution. So in your honest opinion, what happens? What have you been doing over the years when such a situation arises?
Excellent, Joel, and that's a real kwanza of late. Registering the company or the group, that's for me is the easiest part, especially companies nowadays. The last company we registered, I don't even think we left our house. That's the easiest part, and you get your PIN, everything. Getting the constitution done is also quite an easy part, because you have a lot of templates out there, so you can get so many constitutions and compare and see what works for you. Now, the challenge is exactly what you said. If one person amelemewa, and this happens all the time, as a group, you have to foresee that and decide, okay, what do we do? Can we be like what many SACCOs do? And this now I'm talking about SACCOs. Every month, like in the Sacco, one of the SACCOs, there's a 300 shillings top up that every member must give. It's called benevolent. It's called benevolent fund.
but it's usually for members who, in case they die and they have a loan, hatutaenda kufuata members wao. In case they are evicted or they get a permanent disability, hatutaenda kufuata members wao. But that is in a Sacco situation. Now, in a group situation, you have to sit down at a group and say, hey, you guys, mtu hata kuwa na the 1,000 or the 2,000 or the 5,000 every month. What happens if I don't get that 1,000? What is either one, you have to put a penalty. Then if it's a genuine case, within your constitution, you have to inbuild a structure for determining. Somebody has to determine. Either someone has to, there's a committee among you who says, mtu amesema amelemewa, ama mtoto wake amefukuzwa shule, he will not be able to. How do we determine such a case? Does he forfeit his shareholding? Because what you do when you're contributing in a company or in a group, you are buying into shareholding, quote unquote. So at the end of the year, kama tunatoa 1,000 each, all of us have 12,000 shillings in terms of shares, if you could put it that way. So huyu mtu amelemewa, can another member of the group who is able buy into that? Or can this member amelemewa, can he borrow and pay, can he, borrow from the group and pay his dues to refund at an interest at a later date when he's more stable? But you have to inbuild, like what we've done in one of the companies where with my wife and another two people, is to inbuild yes?
Excuse me. There's someone who says he can't join the conversation.
Oh, someone says they can't join the conversation. Who is it, Bob?
For an ad. Oh, Ochola.
Sorry, two people actually. Someone else is trying to join in and they're unable to. They're getting an error message.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Let me just. Hello? Hello, are they on now?
One is on.
The other one is?
I can't see the other one.
Winnie.
She's Winnie Moriarty.
Evelyn.
Winnie Moriarty.
Winnie Moriarty.
Winnie Moriarty.
Janet.
Also at
Oh,
Janet.
we lost her.
But Can Janet see us and hear us?
If she can hear us, better type.
If Janet, if you can hear us, can you type on the chat? I just see if you can hear us. I can see Janet.
Janet says she can hear.
Janet says?
She can hear us.
Yes, she can.
Oh, she can, eh? Oh, she's typing on the. Oh, I'm not on the WhatsApp. Okay. Okay, welcome. And sorry for that. I think you can tell by now technology is
If you may allow me.
Winnie Moriasi
Yes,
is with us.
Yes?
There was one other person who was not able to join. Winnie Moriasi.
And also Evelyn. Also Evelyn is part of us.
I think Evelyn can hear us. Evelyn can hear us, but I don't see Winnie anywhere here, even requesting to join. Has she tried joining? Or she's under another name, maybe. I see Ochola, Janet, Joel, Hangington, Bethy, Patrick, Gay, Regina. Well, Regina is me. Using my wife's phone. My wife's and Babu. If she tries to join, just tell me, and then Regina can, I think, let her in. Or there's a chat here. Or Janet can hear. And Babu, who is Babu? Can Babu hear?
Babu can. I'm guessing Babu can hear. It's only that he's in a position where he can't speak. But yes.
Okay. Hakuna shida. So,
okay. If you allow me.
Yes.
To take you back, there's something I wanted to point out.
Yes, Ochola.
On our introductory part. Yes, we are a group of friends. We've been friends for quite some time, 7 years to be precise.
Oh, that's major.
Yeah, and it dawned to us that as much as we are friends, we needed to come together and do something that could uplift us, not just individually, but as a group. And that's where the idea was born. And so far, right now, what we are actually doing is just doing the groundwork to help us make the major decision, which I believe Joel has asked the biggest question and our biggest concern. And so far, our idea revolves around investment, to be precise. So CEO merry-go-round, CEO chama, or anything, we just need to do an investment as a group. And the investment now, that's where the major concern comes in, because what we had foreseen was as much as yes, we had the legal hurdles to handle. We wanted first to get the ground rolling by having somewhere to contribute and do our monthly contribution, because we are foreseeing a situation where we'll be doing our monthly contribution. So as much as we've not done, we were in the process of doing our constitution today. So I believe some of the insights that you've shared will really help us get some light on it. And also you've talked of deciding whether to do a company or a group registration. Also will really help us. And finally, what we wanted to know is the Sacco the best bet for us as a group? And if so, how do we go about it? Which you are now going on with it. So kindly proceed. Asante
Ochola, and sorry for the small mishap. So I think we had a small discussion on Joel's issue. I think from the very get-go, because if you are 7 and you've been with friends for that long, then that means you can go, I mean, for as far as you want. And if it's for investment, I think that will answer some of your questions in terms of what to begin. Because if you want to invest as an investment company, these are the Akina Transcenturies of this world. Transcentury began as an investment group, Centum to some extent. That will inform now if you become a company or not. But the point which I was trying to respond on Joel's issue was that as a group, you really have to decide what in your constitution, because these things are bound to happen. I'm a member of this group. What happens if at some point, I can't contribute the money. Do you chase me away? Do you give me a penalty? And how will that affect our overall investment? Because my assumption is, as you contribute this money in a Sacco, and I've seen you saying the Saccos that you've talked about, you want to make a return. And maybe now, and Saccos are not the only way, but I would really love to encourage you to join one of the Saccos, because for the last, at least at a personal level, for the last, from around 2008, I think, is when I joined the Sacco at a personal level. And I mean, the journey has been very slow. I think then, and that was individually, I'm just sharing this for, even if I can just encourage you. That time, I think I used to contribute 500 or 700, I can't quite remember, and then going up to today. But today, at least from all those years, and by relying a lot on compound interest, I never took out my interest when I was paid. I invested it back into my deposits. If I look at what I make now at the end of the year, in not so very long, 2-3 years, at least I'll be able to say that I can make enough money from my Sacco. Even if I wasn't employed, I would still be able to survive, because the money will be good. The other thing is with the company that I had shared earlier. Also, another thing just to encourage you, we joined Uniters, and why we joined Uniters, and I had said earlier, Mr. Ochola, I wouldn't encourage Uniters a lot if you're just thinking about a return, because their dividends I know are not very high. They recently released their dividends. But for loaning, they are quite good in terms of loaning groups. So get your constitution right, and be very open with each other. Maybe some of you are not married. What happens if you get married? Maybe what happens if I really want to leave the company or the group? What happens? What is the procedure? Will you have a fund to help out people who are struggling? In those cases, that will we top up with 100 every month? What premium are we putting every month for every member? In my opinion, I wouldn't put a very high sum. What we do in our group, although for that one is for land buying, we give a very low sum per month. But then when we have, like now, we recently bought land in Kiserian. It's a group of 19. We're buying some 4-5 acres. So we give very little per month. Then now when we identify a project, maybe we want to do a tender, or we want to buy like land, what we wanted to do recently, we put a quota and say, now everybody aende atafute this amount of money by this day. Kama itakuwa imepata, then we can borrow from Uniters. So we are very project specific. If we want to do one project, we say, let's go now and look for this money, capitalize, so that everybody comes. If we need 1 million shillings, me, I've got 100. I've got everybody to bring 100. If all of us cannot raise 100, we can say, okay, huyu anaweza peana a bit more, kama anaweza to support huyu, you can have more shares, or this person can cede some of that shareholding to the other person. I don't know if John, that makes sense in any way.
Yes. Thank you. It does. You've answered actually a question that I was about to ask. but thank you for that.
Yeah. Anyone else? Is anyone here a member of a Sacco? Because I'm sure you'd. It's according to me, it's one of the easiest way to make money. Because it enables you to build a discipline of saving, and then you make money at the end of the year. It's for me, it's been easy. And given in my case, because I work an 8 to 5, so I'm not. Sometimes I'm unable to do other businesses. I try doing so many side hustles. Some are not very successful. I love farming a lot, but it's reached a point where, because of where the farm is, telephone farming becomes a challenge. So for the Sacco, I just see when I put in money, vis-a-vis if I'd done it into something else. I can give another example. Some 5-6 years back, we invested into real estate. This was with my wife. And today, just the other day, we were just actually looking and seeing if only we had put all that money in good investment firm, or we had bought treasury bills, or we had bought a Sacco, we had put it in the Sacco deposits. The money we are getting now from from rent. Na mnajua venye siku hizi kuna shida ya rent. Tenants are becoming a challenge to pay and all that. We would be making way much more money with less stress than the money that we put into a piece of real estate. But that's just on the side to encourage you. But I must say I'm very encouraged. If you guys have been friends for this long, I don't see what can stop you moving forward to maximize and leverage on that friendship to make you money. Thanks, Ochola. I don't know if I've exhausted everything.
Sure. And just a point of concern.
Yes.
When joining a Sacco, okay? For instance, you as with your company, did you join as a savings group, or did you join them specifically to get loans from them?
Both, because we are a registered company. They have a form for registered companies, just like all these other Saccos that I've seen you had done, Hazina, Safaricom, Steamer. So we joined as a group. There's a certain amount of share capital. I think for Unitas should be like 10,000 shillings, and then now you start contributing pole. But for us, for that group, primarily is to borrow loans, because now we bought some pieces of land around Nairobi, and we want to develop them. And developing, of course, will cost way much more money. We may not be able to give from our own pockets. So now we go to them for loanings. So we'll use for them. We'll not even use our contributions as the collateral. The title that we bought, like if I can give you an example, we bought 4 acres in Kiserian. We'll do the valuation, and then we go to Unitas. Unitas have their team. We'll tell them we want to develop this and sell these units. And then they have their own credit team. So they'll see if it's something that can work or not, and they'll give us the money. If they feel it's not viable, they'll also tell you we can't do this. We feel we may lose out. So for us, we joined to borrow primarily, but also we get some dividends at the end of the year, which is not much because we primarily did not contribute towards deposits every month. It was more of buying share capital. And there's a question here, but I don't know if it's related. Ochola, if you can just let me.
Sure.
Bethy Bendy says, how long did you join the Sacco? How long ago did you join the Sacco? Also, for us to get good dividends, how much share capital do you need to raise? A good question, eh? Personally, I joined the Sacco 2008 is how many years? I don't know. 2008, maybe 13, 14 years as a person, individually. As a group, the group I'm talking to you about, which is a group of 19 people. We started at, and I can share this, we started at 25, then we kicked out, sorry to use that word, but we kicked out 6 members for various reasons. They never came for meetings, they never contributed and never gave an explanation. They just never stuck to the constitution of the company. So we had a clause on how to get a member out and how to reimburse such a member. That has been maybe close to 10 years, 9 years maybe for the group. So far so good. We have achieved our objectives because it was a group specifically formed to invest in land. And we started when land was very cheap in Kiserian and those areas. So that's why we have achieved our agenda. We now go into borrowing to develop those real estates depending on the market. But now we have everything at this title nini, and we can always just use 2 or 3 titles to get a certain loan. We develop a block of apartments in one land, sell off like that. Bethy asked, to get good dividends, how much share capital do you need to raise? Now, team, if you can allow me, share capital, I think there's a video Regina invited me to do, and deposits. Let me start. If you're joining as an individual, I would encourage you to contribute the least share capital. Because share capital, you cannot, hauwezi itoa, hiyo ukishaweka, hiyo ni pesa umeweka. And usually every Sacco has their minimum share capital. Usually it's between 5,000, 20,000, it depends with them. And it's managed by SASRA. So every Sacco must be capitalized to a certain amount. Let's assume Hazina Sacco must be capitalized to the tune of 4 billion. And this is just for example. So they'll divide that 4 billion amongst the membership and see that everybody must at least have a share capital of 5,000 shillings. So that one, upende usipende, ukiingia watakukata tu baka hiyo 5 ikue. And they'll pay you a dividend on it. Usually they pay a bit higher dividend on the share capital to encourage people to buy share capital. But at the back of your mind, you have to remember that is money you cannot get back. You can only sell it to someone. Now, you have the share dividends, Sacco share dividend, the Sacco shares deposits. This, when you join the Sacco, is the money you give every month. For example, as I told you, when I started 9-10 years ago, I was giving 500 shillings a month. That goes into share deposits. These are like your deposits in the bank, but now they're in the Sacco. So these share deposits, and I wish, I don't know if you can share screen this. I could show you my last, yeah, I think you can. I could show you my last. In fact, let me just do that. Then that will help. The share deposits. If you want to leave the Sacco by any chance, like there's a Sacco which me and my wife in, we only joined it to get to reap out the dividends because they pay very well. They pay at 14-15%. So we knew if we put in 3 million into this particular Sacco and every month we are contributing 20,000-30,000. By the end of that year, you are talking of excess of 300,000-400,000 from that particular Sacco, which is an equivalent to almost 28,000 a month. And 28,000 a month is, for all intents and purposes, is like a salary you have, which is bigger than if you had put that 3 million somewhere else. So in terms of StreamYard is here. In terms of how much share capital do you need to raise? If you choose, for example, Hazina is 5,000, but in Hazina they keep adding. Every year you add, I think, 1,900. If it's somebody said more than a salary, that's joy. If it's steamer, I think it's 10,000. In one of the circles that I'm in, it's 5,000. So share capital is usually not a lot of money, and you only pay it once. But you cannot withdraw that share capital. If you can just allow me 1 second, I can project. This is from one of the circles that does well, not very well. It pays at 9%, but I just want to show you the difference of share capital. And I'm assuming Sigei or Chola, when I project this year, it is for just purposes of, or it's just for purposes of us learning.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's just for purposes of learning. I see somebody else here says, can you sell a share capital and still be part of a Sacco? Yes. There are people who join Saccos just as normal members, and they join it as a bank. Like for example, Hazina Sacco or Ukulima Sacco, Harambee Sacco, they have what you call front office services. This is where you just join a Sacco as a bank. Maybe unataka pesa yako ya biashara hiyo inaingilia hapo, pesa yako ya mshahara inaingilia hapo. It's a normal bank, but you'll not be getting dividends at the end of the year. For you to be a member of a Sacco, you have to have share capital. That is this is a recent one.
While at it, can you kindly add Nyasuku also to the conversation?
Nyahu? Nyasuko?
Nyasuku.
Okay, let me try. Nyasuku. Oh, Nyasuku. Nyasuku can hear us, but we can't see him. Let me try that. I don't know. I hope Nyasuku.
There's one
oh yeah, he can hear us. Which one has a share capital of if someone said of 15,000 or 5,000? Very many circles have for 5,000. But people are encouraged to add. Okay, I'll just show you this. This is for these are a dividend slip for last year for one of the circles. Where is it? Share screen. Huh? I want to share.
Papa, we make blueberry.
How do you share the screen on this thing? No, it can't be that one. Imezeeka hivyo. Can you share? I'm trying to get some help here. Is there any way I can share the screen? No, yeah? And I'll have to use this other machine. Is Nyasuko in now? Okay, I see him. No, I mean like here.
Yes, I am.
And if you drop out, you can just write on the chat. Then I'll be able to add. Now there you go. Right. Can anyone see that? No.
There's quite reflections. We can't see it clearly.
Reflection. Or if you have a WhatsApp group, I can send it on your WhatsApp group.
You can share it with Sigei.
Okay. Okay. Share. Give me the phone. Then I can use it to maybe illustrate what I mean. But somebody there asked which one is 5K. Many of them, the share capital is 5,000. 5,000 for starters, but over time you wanna add. Some people add to a lot of money because the dividend rate is higher. Can Sigai see it? Sigai umeiona? Hello?
Not yet.
You got it?
Not yet. Not yet.
I
haven't gotten it.
Almost there. But I'm really encouraged the way you guys are thinking like that. As a if only many of us in Kenya would think like that when we were younger, would deal with so many of the issues we are having. Because you tend to go further when
Also add Janet and Caleb Aswa.
Caleb and Janet. Add Caleb and Janet. Na sasa Sigai umepata?
I think Sigei has dropped out, if I'm not wrong.
The guy has dropped out. But I can see he has received it. Oh, the guy got it. So maybe if you shared it on WhatsApp, and then maybe I could use. I think that would be the easiest.
Open without password. Can it open without password?
Sorry?
Can it open without password?
And I've put in a password for it, so it's 62223. Can confirm. If you can hear me, I know Hangington, come on, hang up. But Hangington, can you hear us? Sigai?
We received.
Yeah, we have
you
it now.
can see it, eh?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sent it already.
You sent it, eh?
Yes.
Na imefunguka.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll be okay, can you Hangington, can you ask? Evelyn, you can hear us? It's like on this one, some people cannot talk, but they can hear. But it's okay. Anyasuku. Okay. So if you see the product name, deposit contribution, are we all there? Those are the share deposits, the deposits that I was talking about at the end. The the deposits that I was talking about that you remove every month. But if you look at the rate, the dividend rate, it's lower. So you know Napo? Bwana Joel, Bwana Ochola?
Yes,
yes, we are.
You can, eh?
Yes,
For this Sacco, it's 9% for deposits. Share capital, it's 20,000. Of course, this is not the minimum. This is money unaongeza 500 this year, hivyo pole. 20,000, but this could be as low as 5,000. But look at the rate of dividend is 14%. So for the share capital is higher in this Sacco than the share deposits by over 5 percentage points. But why then, if someone would ask, would you just put more money in the share capital contributions? Would be that those shares, you cannot take them out. If you look at the deposits, this was for last year, I think, if I'm not wrong, 2.68. There's 2.68. That's money I can get out just by giving a notice of 60 days and you get your money. But for the share capital, you can't get it out. You either have to sell it to someone, after them to 20K, I don't know. You can't just live with it. If you need, so even if you are in an emergency, a health emergency, someone is in the hospital, you can access the deposit, you cannot access the share capital. So those are things to check. But again, on every Sacco, look how much for the last 5 years they have been paying their dividends. Is it been consistent? If it's not consistent, it's a cause for a red flag. It should be consistent. Ideally, it should not be below 10% if you're looking for a good Sacco. Never. It should not be below 10%. That's just in my opinion, because the Saccos are there that pay in excess of 14. I mean, a Sacco that pays us up to 14-15%, which is very good. I don't know if that has been understood, and if there's any question, at least that one I've answered.
I have a question.
Yes, Joy.
And I'll probably be taking my fellows back, because we had a discussion about whether to use the banks or the Saccos. But okay, clearly Saccos have more dynamics to all of this.
Yes.
But let me just put the question out there. Between, let's say, a bank like KCB and any Sacco like Ukulima Sacco in terms of shares, in terms of deposits, in terms of chama, whichever. Which one do you think weighs better on the scale? Like in terms of
ease, or in terms of returns? Of course, a Sacco will have returns because it pays you for your share. A bank, you're just opening an account. The company which we were with my wife and four other people, we are 6 of us, sorry, that we trade in stocks. We have an account at Bank of Africa. Is it called Bank of Africa? Yeah, Bank of Africa, which has a Chamar account. The advantage now with the banks when it comes to Chamas is that one, they give you capacity building. Many of these banks have a consultancy wing, so you'll be trained for free. They understand the dynamics of Chama. They can send someone from the bank to come to your meetings and explain to you, anything that you need to know, how to get a loan, how to organize your books of accounts, because now you'll also start having proper books of accounts and to do your taxes, or else you'll be fined. Last year we were fined 20,000 by KRA because of what I would call ujinga yetu tu. Not finding, not keeping our books in order. Then tunaangaliana tu, inafika mwisho tunaona email KRA penalty 20,000, and we had to pay. So that became a loss onto the company. So banks are good in as they will give you capacity. These are financial experts. So if you want, for example, like in that group where we buy stocks, we are doing a lot in the financial markets. Someone in the Sacco may not know things about the financial market. So also the type of investment that your group is thinking. Are you going into investment, for example, to buy treasury bills or treasury bonds? You may want a bank that has a brokerage. Corp Bank, most banks, KCB, Equity, those are, KCB, Equity, those are great banks, if you ask me. If you're going into investments to buy land, there are Sacco land investments companies. Safaricom has their own investment Sacco. Steamer has their own, separate from the Sacco, the main Sacco. So what do the 7 of you, are you 7 or 10? The 10 of you, what type of investments are you thinking? Because you don't want to spread yourself thin. That munajaribu munalima hoho, munanunua shamba, munauza furniture. You may spread yourself very thin, and you're starting, and then mutahema, you give up. So what exactly do you want to do? What type of investments do you really want to do? Based on that, who can give you, if it's finances, who can give you financial services? If it's land, housing finance, for example, is a very good one for people in real estate. So identify, where do you want to start? Of course, this company will grow with time and you can do other things. If you're only going into tenders, then that one is any bank. You just register your company today, tomorrow, and then the nearest bank near you, you sign, and now because most things are online, and you start doing tenders. Tendering being another very nice way of making resources, if you can be able to do the work well. Tendering is a way that you can make your start in investments very easily. So in my opinion, as Joel asked, determine what type of investments. Ochola said you want to go into investments. What investments? If it's investing strictly in the stock market, treasury bills, treasury bonds, you need a bank, and a very good bank, Corp, KCB, Equity. Those ones have brokerage firms. They'll be able to give you a package. They'll do your banking, they'll do your taxes for you, they'll do buying of the shares or buying of the treasury bills, treasury bonds. If you're going into land, then you don't need a very complicated nini like a bank. Just go to a Sacco who will understand you. If you're investing just now to make money out of the Sacco, then choose the Sacco that has the highest return. 14-15%. That's a lot of money when people look at it. If you think from 1 million shillings you'll make at the end of the year 150,000, when you think of where else would you have put 1 million shillings and make 150,000 without any stress, it's really hard. And the taxes on dividends from Sacco is also low. We are only taxed, I think if you saw in that document, do you still have it? The withholding tax is only 5%. So when you compare that with other things, like when we pay taxes for for regular thing or regular businesses of up to 25% on your tax at the end of the year. The tax there from dividends is also very cheap, so you end up getting almost everything that you require. Did I make any sense? If you could also share with us some red flags to look into SACCOs. Very important. Red flags, SACCO kama ijakuwa registered, although I think you guys have already done some good due diligence. The SACCOs that I see here, these are well-registered SACCOs. SASRA, their financials are online. You can see how they have been paying their dividends. One, if a SACCO is not registered by SASRA, SACCO regulatory authority, then just run away. Don't bother. Number two is a SACCO that promises you a certain percentage. Hiyo ni kama Ponzi scheme. Unajua kuna SACCO zimekuja especially mtaani where they say we guarantee that you will make 15%. It is not possible. Even Safaricom, even East African breweries cannot promise a return because it depends on so many dynamics and business. Those would be the main red flags. And number two, the annual report. If you go to SASRA website, there's the annual report, SACCO reports. In that report, I don't know if Regina had posted the last one. In that report, they flag SACCOs that are under investigations, and they flag SACCOs that have not met their capitalization ratios. Like they are not liquid. So hizo unaona hii ni kama Chase Bank. Anytime this SACCO will fall down. So that one you avoid. And that information is public. And use it. Read those reports. Look at the SACCOs that have very good capitalization in that report. Go for those SACCOs. Hannington Moya is saying, if we were to start as a self-help group, good. Could we later change to a limited company and engage in business? Excellent. You start as a self-help group, register under social services. Register under social services. And as you see, bado mnaelewana. How are we? For now, you have been friends for 7 years, but how will you relate when it comes to money? Maybe mtaskizana. Then now, after self-help group, which is much, much easier to join, I don't know how many people, though, are required to be in a self-help group. I don't know if it's 7. I can't remember the actual number. But you register at social services. Once that peaks and maybe you have saved for 1 year, then you'll see, now we have a disciplined team. People are coming for meetings. People are remitting. People do what they are told. The minutes are well kept. You have structures. Nani treasurer, nani secretary. Then you go to limited liability company. Because even to register a company, of course, you'll need at least 15,000, which is money here, which may just go like that. So good idea. A self-help group makes a lot of sense. But number one, to do what? The question, I think, is it a Chola who I asked or who? You have to identify why you want to invest in what? So that you're very clear from the get-go. Sisi tunaungana, tuanze to tender in government tenders under AGBO. The other day I was trying to help my sister to register AGBO and to try and apply for tenders in state corporations to supply printing and branding photography services. And in her company, I told her, you have to be very clear, where do you want to start? Because if you try and do everything at the very beginning, unaeza hema. So the earlier you identify, even if it's a self-help group, tunaanza hii group for what? Kama ni kuchanga tu pesa, alafu after 5 years tujue tuko na, that's also a reason. We are starting the self-help group to encourage us to save. We are starting the self-help group to buy land. We are starting the self-help group to have that, and that will answer all these other questions. I hope I've been useful.
Quite useful. Quite useful
for those who are listening, and also to what you're doing for me is good. You will go way further when you are many than when you are alone. At least in the Kenya I know today, you will do way much more. Like now, some of the SACCOs I've joined for so long. It has taken me so long even to hit 1 million. But if you're a group, chapter. The group that we buy land to, I wouldn't. Someone has offered me nyama na taska mbili kwangu, nitakujia. The group that has offered the group that we buy land with. If I had like the most recent land we bought, land in Kiserian, the one I was telling you about, was the buying land was 8 million, so plus stamp duty, subdivision of the land into workable plots was in excess of 9 million. If I was alone, even if I could go and get a loan from the bank, I would be paying through my nose. If you can imagine how much you need to pay per month. But if as a group, it became so easy for us because we just gave ourselves 6 months. We talked to the seller. We said every month we'll tutatafutia deposit kwanza, alafu every month we'll give you 1 million shillings. So we knew that we are 19 of us. So if we need 1 million shillings every month, kila mtu aende atafute 45,000. Ukitaka kwenda kuhustle, ukitaka kwenda kufanya kazi, you look for money utulete. And it was very easy, of course, after discussing and seeing what everybody could manage to do. So I really want to encourage you, don't let this thing die off. If you look at our parents, I know many of you are much younger than me, but our parents, I'm now 40. If you look at our parents' generation, they were able to buy land in River Road. Wamama wazee. People who used to farm coffee. They bring their money together, they buy land in River Road and they build buildings, which many of us at our age, even with good salaries, we are unable to do. So that is just to encourage you. Then Hangington asks here another one on litigation. What kind of legal challenges should we look out for, expect as a self-help group? I don't know really. As a self-help group, I don't see which legal challenges, because a self-help group, I think you register with 1,000 shillings and then you get a letter of certificate of registration at the social services. Unless you go maybe to where you get a loan from Uwezo Fund or from Women Enterprise Fund, and then you refuse to pay, that is the type of legal challenge maybe I would look for. Because self-help groups, for example, cannot tender in, for example, government. So you would not be in litigation, for example, in tendering and things like that. I do not foresee. Self-help group is a safe, fast bet. I really don't see what type. I don't have the answer of that in terms of litigation. People would be suing you and not suing you. A self-help group would be challenging. But it is a good way to build the glue. You know, when groups start, maneno ya pesa ikianza, watu wanaongeanga mpaka you do not believe these are my friends. The things start from, I don't know where they come from the little experience I've had with groups. Things just come up. Unaona uko na pesa sana kutuliko. Sijui sasa hii idea yako. Like the group, I don't know where my wife has gone. Ile group tunanunuanga shares nayo. We once invested, and I think I can share this is public knowledge. We invested in an organization called FEP, Fountain Enterprise Program. Maybe some of you have heard of it. Na me, I was very against. Hii group hapana, si mzuri. Me, I wasn't very confident about it. All the other members were for it. So you go with the majority. But now this company, now I think it's been over 9 years. They have never given us any dividend. Hata hatujui kama the company exists. Na tulieka our 300,000 there. Sasa unaona hiyo ni kama kuchomeka. Hiyo ni tulichomeka, hiyo ni iko. And that is the other point I felt. As a group, don't be mad with each other mkichomeka. Kuchomeka iko. If I can share another story about myself, around 2, 3, 4 years ago, we bought a stock. I did it myself with my wife. We bought Britam shares. Britam kuna wakati ilikuwa inapanda. So ikafika 29 bob. Nikaambiwa na my friend, and now this is the folly of not seeking good advice when you're making investments. Never just go and do something. Get financial advice. Talk to people who have done this before. Tukaambiwa ishia by next 6 months itakuwa imefika 40 bob. Nikaona nikiweka 300,000 ama ni 200,000, within 6 months I'll make an extra 100,000. Tukaweka pesa. Today you just go online and look at the share price for Britam. It is 7 shillings. Meaning nikiuza saa hii hata, you know, but such is life. You get some, you lose some. So don't msichapane ati wewe ulituletea hii investment, sasa umetuingiza kwa mtaro, ulituambia tununue hii shamba, sasa angalia hii shamba mara ni public land. Just do your due diligence, do your best. Such is life. You get some, zingine upati. I can see Caleb Wash. Regina can come and help Caleb Wash join. I think I've answered all the questions that had been posted, unless kuna ingine sijasikia. And thank you again for inviting me.
This session has just been fantastic.
Right.
And now, maybe to help us, you can also help us get a solution, maybe to some of what we are thinking towards. And if I got you right throughout the session, for lack of a better word, to make a quick cash, we can advise we go for Sacco shares deposits, and then maybe later on we go for an investment once money has grown or something.
Yeah. The challenge is when and you'll hear this when you go to the Sacco. When you go to Sacco as a group, as a company, there is a limitation on the type of shares that you can buy. Share capital, that one you have to, but share deposits. Caleb needs to connect their mic or camera, whichever, before you can. So you need to connect. The share deposits as a company, you may be unable to enroll into share deposits. You understand? In some circles, I'm not sure about Stima. I'm not sure about Safaricom. Unitas, they do agree, but to a certain limit. So you need to visit with Safaricom and tell them, sisi tunataka tuwe tunatoa hii pesa na inaenda kwa deposits. Can you allow us to? Can we have share deposits in this bank, in this Sacco, and we are only doing it maybe so that we can get dividends at the end of the year? They have to tell you categorically that is possible. Because for many Saccos, they don't allow that. They'll just allow individuals to buy share deposits. If they can allow, then you go for the share deposits in the Sacco. Because then if you're going, for example, with Stima Sacco, that's 14%. You can imagine 14% is too much money. If you ask me, it's a lot of money. If you ask me. But if you're first doing it to start off, like you start off as someone was saying, as a self-help group, to now first develop yourself as a group, know how much you can save, mnajipima. Ili mjue tunaweza sema 1000 a month alafu tuone ni pesa mingi, ama tuanzie na 500 a month ama 3000 a month. You can join first as a self-help group for 1 year, but be saving in a Sacco, which will give you a dividend. Because if you just put your money, all of you have bank accounts. Ile pesa unaekanga kwa bank, hakuna pesa unakuitianga at the end of the year. So hiyo ni pesa tu ameweka, they are loaning it to other people unless you want to get a loan. So first build your group, build trust within the group. Mjipime nini tunaweza toa bila kuteseka sana. That in my opinion would really help.
Thank you.
Yeah, and don't stretch yourself thin. Don't msiweke targets zingine wazimu za kuhemesha watu wengine. Be very frank. Yeah, for real, be very very frank. Don't mnaweza weka targets zingine hapo ati tutakuwa tunatoa. People start with mamioto that we are tutanunua nyumba Kilimani na 14 million. So kila mwezi kila mtu anatoa 30,000. So the first month you'll do it. Then watoto shule, wengine bado wako shule wanaenda evening class, job, nimelose job, corona, all those. So be extremely realistic. You'd rather say that we'll start contributing 500. After 3 months, we review. If everybody is okay, we increase to 1,000. Hivyo. Kuliko kuanzia juu mwanze kusema sasa tuanze the group becomes messy. But I'm extremely, what's it called? I don't think when I was your age I was thinking like that. I'm extremely impressed by what you guys are thinking in terms of, and where you will go in terms of the heights. Yeah, been the limit. Joel stepped out a bit. Okay, I've seen that. Asante sana for that. Sigay Patrick. I think who is that? Sigay ametoka.
I joined with a different device.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think, I don't know. And any information you guys need, I can always share via email. Those reports I'm talking about, read them and take time. Take a lot of time. Msione kama mna waste time even what you're doing. Take time. Of course, you have to start at one point. You can't keep talking forever. But take time, get your foundation right, and then move. You'll go extremely far. And then also have a target. Where do you want, in the next 5 years, Ochola naona wewe ndio nini, in the next 5 years, where do you guys want to be? How much money do you want to have saved? The same way, on a personal level, you have your own. I have my own targets in maybe 5 years, or by the time I'm 45, I want to have dividends that I can retire from work bila kusumbuka ati the story kama you are making enough money, passive income from other sources, from Sacco, from the stock market, and from treasury bills and bonds, without necessarily needing to work an 8 to 5 job. So those are some of the things, so that you're very clear. What is your vision? Mnataka nini? Ni kusave tu, or what? Answer those questions. Life will be much easier. So I think I've taken a lot of your time.
No.
And I hope it's useful. And consult widely. Anybody you know who has done this, consult. Look, Uko YouTube. Like now, Alex Chamwada. He has been running a series on Saccos, for example. Listen to people who can grow you. And muna get yourself away with people who discourage you at watu wengi wameanzisha chama zimekufa, Kenya kila mtu akona chama. You know, such guy mwambia atoke kabisa. Anybody who brings negativity, just because you will never grow. You know those people who are now hii tutafikisha milioni 10 lini. Hata afami niende kivyangu. Just get away from any negative, because it will bring you down. It will bring you down. People really have to be focused, be extremely positive, and get away all those negative energies, or else you'll be starting falling. Hakuna mahali mtaenda. Thank you.
Yeah, as a parting shot from my end, thank you very much for this special session. And trust me, you've not wasted your time. You've really enlightened us. I'm seeing already part of our assignment is to review our goals. Already we had our goals, but we need to review them just to ensure we are not stretching ourselves up, as you've said. And I think it has really been enlightening and informative. And maybe Patrick, maybe you can just help us with congratulating Peter for his time.
Thanks, Alberto. Thanks, Ochola. Peter, we're so grateful. It's been a very enlightening moment and session. We expected, as I had earlier communicated to you, it was about 30 minutes, but we have gone now 1 hour, 26 minutes. An extra 1 hour. Actually, we've had to unceremoniously, our agenda of the week has had to change. If the rest agree with me.
Paul for disruptive.
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's much enlightening to get this kind of insight, than just going blindly and not getting the right gist of information. And Bethy is saying that if we can share the video.
Yeah.
But it's on YouTube, I think.
Yeah, and Regina will share it with you just in case.
It will go live. Yes. So we are so grateful, and also Regina for enabling this session as well. Tumeshukuru.
Sawa, I'll beg to leave.
Yes.
And all the very best.
Thank you. We'll get in touch and see how the best see how we will go.
Sawa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.